Lights, camera, action! Okay, so topic 6, non-monetary rewards. Ryan's obviously found his career in the movies. This topic, very quickly, is based on motivating people not through financial reward. Okay, so next slide please. We've said before there's only two things that motivate people. One's quite clearly fear. We're using fear as a motivator, threatening people, warning people, putting people under pressure. Happens probably in school as well as in the workplace. But it's probably an effective motivator, but I wouldn't say it's particularly good in the short or the long run. Because when people are threatened and intimidated, they generally make mistakes and they're not enjoying the environment, the environment that they're working in. So as people get more resentful, they'll probably do their job less effectively and be demotivated. So let's have a look at this topic. This is a 2-mark question in an exam for Year 11, job rotation. And it's no more than putting somebody in a different job during the day or during the week. So in a hotel you might be working on the bar one day, you might be working in the restaurant another day, you might be working in housekeeping another day, you could get put on reception, or you could be put into the porterage department. So there's many different departments that you can get put into. And if you're going to put people in different departments, obviously they're not going to get bored in that hotel, and in effect they could actually be creating their own management training program, so they work out what department they finally want to end up in. So job rotation is fantastic for many ways, but it obviously gets people more skills. In a production line for BMW Mini, you might be working on one part of the production line one day and trained to work on another part another week or another month. So it's a great way to get people excited. Whereas job enrichment is more to do with giving people more responsibility. And job enrichment is really where the work is given more training to do more jobs. So those jobs would be probably checking quality or supervising other people. Might be an enrichment part of the job that people are looking forward to. Again, it could be something you're going to do with people to see how they perform with that before you promote them to supervisor or manager. Whereas job enlargement is all about giving people different tasks to do as well as their other task. So the example there is a packer in a factory might be asked to label boxes, move stock to the warehouse, as well as other things, so they're not just putting stuff through a production line and putting stuff in the boxes. So it's quite a nice way to give people extra responsibility and different variety without paying them to take on more responsibility or have a new job, as it were. One of the massive ways in the last 20-30 years to employ people and motivate people is to put people in teams. So rather than just having people working on their own on a production line, putting people in teams is quite nice, because we all like to be together, having a bit of a laugh and a joke, whether that's in school or in the workplace. Faculties generally work in a faculty base, so we can all talk to each other and share ideas. So working in teams is great, and within that team people can get specific responsibilities, so they're owning a part of the job that that team has to provide a service for. The other benefit to working in teams is everybody in the team's got different skills, different abilities, different strengths, so that team can complement each other, and if you get the team right, eventually that team will have all the right qualities. And you can use teamwork and team building activities to actually take people out of work to see what people are like in a different environment, so that you can actually identify their strengths, and other people can see different sides to them outdoors as opposed to in school or in work. So team working is fantastically motivating. Team building is very important. I remember taking a team of people to Granton on Spain when we opened the hotel for the BBC, and it cost about £10,000 per person. We took about 12 people out there, RAF training base, and everybody throughout the week was taken out of the comfort zone, whether we were rock climbing or canoeing on a loch in the middle of the winter. But at the end of that week, that team of people gelled well, appreciating each other's skills and strengths inside and outside the workplace. And then they came back to work together. They were quite a powerful team. Next slide, please. You can also get award schemes that are non-financial and very motivating. So schemes such as Employee of the Month is a good example of that. And it might be something that happens once a term in a school, or once a term, once a month in an organisation, and you get a certain amount of kudos. If you win that 6 times out of 12 a year, obviously you're quite an amazing person and should be given more than just a certificate and award. But they definitely feed people's self-esteem and desire to work well. Next slide, please. Promotions are massive. To some extent, promotions are a recognition of people's ability to work hard. So if you did a management training programme, you could eventually end up being a restaurant manager if you've learned enough in that department or need some more training for that. So promotions definitely encourage workers to work hard. But obviously when you promote somebody, that's a financial incentive as well, because they're going to earn more money. But the thought of promotions, by taking them more training, is highly motivational. So in the case study, in the exams, if somebody said, what do you think about job enlargement as a method of non-financial motivation compared to promotions and training, obviously the one that's leading to the bigger motivator will probably be the promotion and training and more pay. Next slide, please. You'll also, on this topic, need to understand the following key terms. And the following key terms are these here. So you've got different types of leadership style. Autocratic is when you're definitely bossing people around. And by bossing people around, you're very much saying, right, this is what you do, don't think about it, get on with it. Autocratic was something that was around 100 years ago, Victorian times. There are some companies that are still now quite autocratic, and I would suggest people like Lidl's, Aldi's, are very much a case of being autocratic. The workers are told what to do and told to get on with it quickly. Whereas democratic is when you're asking the workforce what they think of their ideas, so you can actually put those ideas together, and those people can actually benefit from the benefits and strengths of each person in the team, and the team will actually come up with a solution. Whereas laissez-faire is a bit between the both, that's why I put it in the middle. The owner, the manager of the company will come and say, I want you to do this, bang, and then leave you to get on with it and find out how to do it. So it does mean that literally a French word, leave you to do it once you've told the people what you want them to do. So they're the 3 clear management styles: very dictatorial, not dictatorial, and somewhere in between. Those 3 key terms, autocratic leadership, laissez-faire leadership, and democratic leadership, if they come up in the exam, we'll probably get you to explain them, and that would be a 2-mark exam question. If you've got a case study saying the managing director of the company is very autocratic, I would suggest that chap's quite a focus-driven guy, probably not the best to work for if you want to be able to think for yourself. And if you're told what to do every day, unless you like being told what to do every day, that might be an uncomfortable place. But if you're a very creative person, and you're working in a democratic environment, leadership style, everybody can have a say, and that could be absolutely fantastic for your personality type. Next slide, please. So, to get the 6-9 marks in the exam, I would use this strategy as a technique. If somebody's saying, would you go in terms of non-financial rewards, would you go for job enlargement or job engagement? Just literally talk about strengths and disadvantages, advantages, disadvantages, falls and against, whatever you want to call it, for each type of non-financial reward. Link it back to the case study to get all the context marks, and then come up with a decision. And that decision that you make will get you marks. And then talk about the decision. I'm going to go job enlargement because. Talk about the impact that decision will have on the company in terms of sales, cost reduction, profit maximisation. And if you can actually come up with that for and against both alternatives, make a decision, talk about the impact. In a 9-mark question, I can guarantee you'll get all 9 marks. And like I said there, when we talk impact, we mean no more than how that decision will increase sales, how that decision will increase profits, reduce costs, increase staff motivation and customer satisfaction. And then the icing on the cake, the evaluation to me, will depend on, really, in terms of leadership and non-financial motivations, on the decision that you make based on the organisation that you relate it to. And if the company is performing well or not. So I would say that in summary, in this topic, a summary would be, if this business is not doing well, you need a dictator to get it out of the mess and sort it out. Oxted School has definitely improved with some clear directions and some clear leadership and some quite assertive policies that have been put in place. Because that gives you a sense of direction. So if the business is doing badly, you need a dictator. to actually get the job done, very autocratic style. If the business is doing particularly well on its own merit, you might decide that a different style of leadership is needed, more democratic style. And I know for a fact that creative industries tend to go for this democratic style because creative people generally don't like to be told what to do because it stifles their creativity. But it could be that in your 9-mark response you look at a combination of motivational methods and different leadership styles to motivate the workers in that case study. So it's a bit of a different approach there. But if you go for the 9-mark questions, and there is one on leadership styles and motivational, non-financial motivators, then I would definitely throw some of that in the mix. Are we done? Yeah. And if you do want to test yourself on this topic after this topic, feel free to go onto the blog page, Dear Business Studies Unit. There's lots of paper one-pass papers. Look for a paper that's got motivational, financial now and non-financial questions on there and have a go. Because it's important now that you test what you learn by doing what you can do to show off how great you are. Okay, still got a few days left, you've still got loads of papers to look at, you've still got all these topics to revise from. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Year 11 for being involved in the making of this video.